Gravity Forms has a lot of add-ons that allows you to submit your form entry data to external services. But what if your service isn't listed here? What if it doesn't have a dedicated add-on for Gravity Forms? Well, for that case, I've created an add-on called Gravity Forms Send to API. And with that add-on, you can submit your form entry data to an API endpoint of your choosing. In this video, I would like to show you how that works. So we'll go ahead and go to Forms. I've already created an example form, which is a very basic form asking for a name and an email address. If we hover Settings, we can go to Send to API. And here we can create our Send to API feed. So we'll leave the feed name as it is. We'll fill in an API endpoint. I've set up an example API so that I can show you what happens when you submit the form in a minute. So I'll type in the endpoint URL, which is already auto-completed for me. We picked a method. In this case, we just want to use post. We do not want to set a authentication method. And we also would like to not set custom headers for this example. So we'll leave that as it is as well. Here, we'll map the fields and the values that we want to send to the API endpoint. So we'll say like a full name, or rather first name. We also want to submit the last name and the email address. And then we'll go ahead and save this feed. Then if we preview the form, and I want to show you another thing. In this little window, I'm just going to show you what the API has received from data. So we'll keep that open for now. So we'll submit some example data. Hit submit. And here you can see that the API has received this information. Another thing I would like to show you, let's say for example, you want to submit a value which is not filled in into the form. Maybe you want to flag that the person has subscribed on something. So we'll just add subscribed here. And this obviously would depend on what your API endpoint needs to receive, but this is just an example. So we just add a custom value here and say yes. Save the settings. Fill in the example form again. Hit submit. And you'll see that subscribed is now passed along with the value of yes. Sometimes you also have array values to submit to the external API. Let's say, for example, you would like to submit an address object, where you can do that using a dot notation. So as an example, let's do the address. Let's say we have an address street. And I think I might have misspelled that, by the way, but let's just go ahead. For now, we'll enter a custom value, example street, and maybe we also want to have the country, custom value, and we'll say Netherlands. Let's keep it like this for this example. Save the settings. We'll submit another form entry. And as you can see, now there is an address array submitted to the API as well. But what if your API endpoint, which is often the case, is protected and you need to add authentication? Well, let's go ahead and add that as well. I've set up an endpoint which needs authentication, which is called subscribers. In this case, we want to use bearer authentication.
we'll go ahead and save the form. It will now ask you for an API token, which I've set on my other screen, so I'll just copy it and paste it here. Let's save the feed and create. Just to show you that it works, I'm going to disable the authentication for now and show you that it doesn't work if we do not set authentication. So we'll fill in the form again, hit submit, and as you can see, nothing shows up here. But if we set the authentication, set the API token again, save the settings, and we'll go to the form. Hit submit again, and now you'll see that the data is submitted. So it is an authenticated request to our API. So that is what I wanted to show you about this add-on. If you would like to use it, you'll find more information in the description of this video. I would like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.